Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Stylish Nigeria YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Okay, guys, so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew this princess dart piece blouse. Okay, guys, so let's get started. So this is the fabric that I'm going to be making use of. This is about 2 yards for the top, so I'll just keep it on the side. So I have my basic bodice here. So now we're going to adapt these basic bodice into a princess dart. So I'm going to make it a very simple way. So the next thing we're going to do now, I'm going to mark my armhole on my on this point. So this is half of my armhole measurement. That's half of what I have here. So I'm just going to connect it like this. Okay, so the next thing now I'm going to do now, so the next thing I'm going to mark out my bust span. So for the bust span I'm going to use for this project, I'm using 8 inches, bust span 8. So I'll divide that into 2. I'm going to have 4. So that 4 inches, I'm just going to mark it. I'll come to my under bust measurement. I'll mark that 4 inches here, and then I'll come to my waist measurement. I'll mark the 4 inches, and then I'll come to the hem also. I'll mark the 4 inches, and then I'll connect everything with my straight ruler like this. Okay, so after connecting this, the next thing I'm going to do now, on this line, before getting to the bust point, I'm going to extend that line by 1.5 or 2 inches. I'll just extend it that way. I'll do this, and then I'll come. You remember this point that we marked? So here is what we are going to do. So I'm just trying to connect this point, okay? So you see what I've done. So this actually makes it easier. So the next thing now, we're going to take out our dart. So in taking out the dart, I'm going to take out 2 inches dart. So the whole 2 inches is going to be on one side. So from that point now, I'm going to connect this. So you see how easy it is to create a princess dart pattern. See, it is a simple process. So the next thing now, on this down part of my pattern, I'm going to reduce it to 1.5. You know it's 2 inches here. So that 2 inches, I'm just going to take it down like this, and then I'll connect all of them with my straight ruler. So for this armhole part, I'm going to extend it a little bit so it does not get truncated when I cut this out. So I'll extend it by 1 inch, and then here I'm going to get a new armhole like this. So this will help me when I cut. So I'll still blend that part in. So you can see this is how simple and easy it is. So this my dart, I'm going to add it back into my pattern so I don't lose anything. So that 2 inches, I'll just add it back that way. It is a simple process. So I'll mark them, and then we'll cut this out. Okay, guys, so now the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to adapt this into that style line, like a pieces gown, a top or something. So I'll place this back on the pattern. You can actually do this directly on your fabric. It is a very simple process. So the next thing now, you remember this is our bust point. under bust our waist, okay, under bust waist. So now you are going to determine where you want your dress to open out from. So for this case, it actually opened from the waist part. So the next thing, you are going to check how many inches do you want, okay. So I'm just going to turn this like this so I'll have more room. So how many inches do I want for my dress? That's how wide do I want it to be at the down part. So I'm going to go with as much as 5 inches. I'm just trying to check how many inches do I have here. So I'll go with 4 inches. 4 inches is okay for the center one. That's the center part. So I've marked my 4 inches. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come up by 1 inch. When I'm coming up by 1 inch, so I'll be able to blend this in nicely. So I'm taking 4 inch. So from this point, I'm just going to create like a flake here. You can see it is a simple process, okay? So I'm going to tape this down and then cut it out for you to see how it looks like. And then the next thing, I'm going to come to the side. So if you notice, it's the side that really flared out so much for this. So I'm going to check how many inches. So for the side pieces, I'm going to use 5 inches. So I'll mark that 5 inches like that. I'll just mark it here. And then I'll come up to by 1 inch. So it will help me. And then from this point like this, I'm going to do this. Okay. And then I'll mark that out. So for the side back also, I'm going to add my pattern paper and then show you guys how to do that also. So for the side one also, I'm going to, from this point also, I'm going to extend. So for the side, I'm going to use 5 inches also. So from here, this is 5 inches. So I'm just going to flay it. So it is a simple process. So that's it. I'll cut out the pattern so you see it so that you understand it more. So guys, I'm going to cut this out now. So this is what I'm going to do. You can see already that what we have here looks like the blouse already. So you can see this is just how simple this is. So the next thing now, I'm going to place this on my fabric and then I'll cut out my fabric. So I'll show you how to use this pattern to cut out the back so we don't need to draft a new pattern, okay? Okay guys, so before we cut out the front, before we transfer to our fabric, let's work on the back. So I have my basic bodice again for my back pattern. So for the back pattern, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to extend a little bit. You don't even need any extension since we are not trying to create out a curve. So you might not need you can extend if you want to, but it's not necessary. So the next thing, I'll mark my half of my armhole and then I'm just going to connect this like this straight into those points like this. And then after connecting that into that point, from this part, I'm going to take out half of an inch. Depends on how many inches I want to use for my dart. So I'm just going to cut that out and then I'll extend it on this part. So that's for my back pattern. So this is how simple and easy this is. So I'll just add that back into my pattern and then after everything, after cutting it out, I'll extend it the way I did the front. I'll extend it from those parts now, from this waist part. This is the waist part. I'll extend it just the way I did to the front. So that's that for the back pattern. So the next thing now is for me to transfer to my fabric. So I'll cut out the front pieces first and then the back. So I'll do that and then come back and show you. Guys, so I'll use this front piece to demonstrate the stitching. So the next thing now in stitching this, I'll actually start stitching from the down part. So I'll just hold the pieces together like this, and then I'll stitch it up. So I'll take this back to my machine now. I will iron my interfacing on it and then come back and show you guys how it looks like after joining. Okay guys, so we're going to start stitching now. So you can see it. So this is the bust part of my dress. So that's where I'm going to stitch. So I'm going to hold it like this from the tip, and then I'm going to start stitching like this. So I'll stitch across the plate and then navigate it to the top. So I'll do the same thing to the other side, and then I'll bring it back to show you how it looks like. Okay guys, so this is our top. So the next thing, so you can see after joining, this is how it looks like. So you can see the flare effect. So my own, I actually did not pad it. So I'm just using this for the sake of an illustration. Okay, so just to teach. So if you want it to have a more standing effect, just pad it. And then if you want to make this kind of dress, use a sturdy fabric, a fabric that is strong, like a good ankara, so it will give it that beautiful standing effect. So the next thing now, we're going to mark our neckline, so and do the final shaping of this gown, of this top. So the shoulder measurement is 14. You divide that into two, you have 7. We'll mark it here, and then I'll just add half of an inch here that I'll use to join the sleeve. So from this point, I'm going to mark my sleeve measurement, which is 8. So the next thing, I'm just going to curve this like this. That's for my armhole rather. I'll curve it like that. So I've marked my armhole. The next thing, I'll check to make sure that my bust measurement is okay. And then I'll add an allowance to it because I'm going to sew and turn. So this is like final trimming. I'll come to the under bust area. I'll check that measurement also. I'll mark it and then add the tiny stitching allowance to it. And then the down part of my blouse, so I'm going to, here's how I'm going to measure it. I'll measure it like this to see how much I want it to flare. Okay, I hope you can see. So from this point, I'm just going to do this. So after marking it that way, the next thing, I'm going to shape in this part. So to shape this part, I'm going to come up by 2 inches or 2.5 inches, and then I'll just blend that into this point, into this down part, making sure that the front and the back of my dress is the same. Okay, so now I'll trim this off like this to give it that beautiful shape at the down part. So the next thing now is adding a neckline to it. So to add my neckline, so you can see the original piece is a simple neckline. So I'm going to use 3 inches wideness, and then the depth that I'm going to use, I'll use about 4 inches, and then I'll just mark it round like this. Okay, and then I'll cut this off. So we are done. So what I'm going to do now, so this same thing that you did here for the front, you do the same thing to the back. So I'm going to place this now on my mannequin. Just fix it in for you to see how it looks like. So like I said, the essence of this tutorial is just for you to see how to draft and cut this dress. Okay. Okay guys, so at the end of the day, you can see how our princess that pieces top looks like. It actually came out fine. So like I said, I just did this as an illustration. So guys, thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, just follow the whole process just like I explained in the video, and then you'll be able to make your own complete outfit. Thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button, and if you have not subscribed to my channel already, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, bye, bye.